Hello, children. As you can see, we're back indoors. I moved to a place where as soon as the calendar turns from spring to fall, it starts raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock. Yeah. All right, hooligans, before we get rolling this week, I just want to take a quick second to remind our new guys, that we make this league tough. It's supposed to be like this. I'm not really talking to Rude Dogs. Rude Dogs has been doing this 26 years, and he sucked at least 15 of them, so he knows what it's like. But, Schmelly and Saturday, you guys stepped in a league full of degenerates, and there's no fish in this league. The only one we had just quit. I could hear John Henrikson's voice crack when I told him Pedro was out. So it gets better from here, I promise. Just stick with it, guys. Salary capped dynasty league. It's a tough haul, and we don't offer a lot of points. Anyway, there's your pep talk. Let's get at it. The Bearded Clams got lucky they were playing a homer this week. Logic stayed with Wilson instead of Simeon. Got their ass handed to him, 41-27. Olaf, DJ, opens up a can of Tom Brady on Saved by Odell. He served that with a side of Ty Montgomery and some Emo Sanders for dessert. Olaf wins 56-33. Speenrock writes 15 each from A. Ron and C.J. Anderson. They topped the Steelers, Menahunas, 45-25. Cocaine Biceps is averaging 5 players per week to score. That'll get you in the win column sooner than later. They beat the Rude Dogs 53-27. Barry's Blazers fly into the win column. They got 18 from Crabtree and didn't waste it. And they played a quality opponent. They had Schmelly. But Schmelly's good. They're gonna get. In a related story, Saturday 365 found out what it was like to not get to play Schmelly. They got beat by Sandball Kings 31-19. Their streak ends at 1. Cuban Crisis gets a dozen from Dak Prescott. They cracked the win column with a 30-18 win over Risers. Risers, at least they didn't win off. The Risers did not leave a win on the bench, which is good. All right, so the game of the week was an absolute snooze fest between Wretched Horde and the Champ. What drew me to this as game of the week was the utter futility that I was absolutely no part of. Sure, the Champ left a win on the bench, which rarely happens, and they scored less than 20 points, which they didn't do all of last year. And only 6 of the 20, 30? No, 6 of 30 combined players on both rosters scored points. Only 4 of those were in the starting lineup. And sure, half the teams in the league would have beat these guys' combined score. But the real reason that this was the game of the week was, all those things I just said, because it was an epically bad game. All right, what do we got coming up this week? Here we go. CBS says we got the Bearded Clams versus Cuban Crisis. CBS says that the Cuban Crisis is a 1-point favorite. I don't know what rosters they're looking at. Clams by 3. Menahunas versus the Marauders. The Menahunas Steelers contingent is in Chicago this week. I do not know how that can be good for the Champ. We're going to go Menahunas by 2. Cocaine Biceps versus Olaf's Berserkers. A couple of big dogs locking horns on a real Donnybrook. Too much. These guys both scored 50-plus last week. I'm going to go over 75 in this one. Speenrock versus Rude Dog. Speenrock is ranked in the top 5 in passing points, rushing points, and receiving points. How did they lose a game? Oh, they had to play Logic in week 1. Yeah, that'll do it. Speen by 5. Schmelly McBallsacks versus Sandball Kings. This contest is evenly matched except for their records. Let's take the Kings in a close one that starts at 1 by 1. Boolean Logic versus New York High Risers. Logic has not lost in 6 all-time meetings to the High Risers. Let's take Logic by 7. Barry's Blazers versus the Wretched Horde. Got a tricky matchup here. Lots of variables will determine the outcome of this one, not the least of which will be the team with the players that score the most points, Bob. Let's take the Horde by 1. Saturday 365 against Saved by Odell. SBO should carry the day here, but Saturday doesn't roll over. They know how to win in this league. Just not in this game. SBO by 6. That's all I got. See you later, girls. No, wait. Kids. Sorry, wrong league. Later, kids.